Hello everyone, Joseph here, speaking from a very, very warm tropical Australia. What I thought I'd do this time is something I don't like doing, which is making some predictions. I've experienced phenomena, good and bad, since I was a little boy. And amongst those things was a feeling of the future and how it would be. I've had a bit of a difficult life, like many of you, and it wasn't always wonderful. But as I got older, I got more of a feel for things. Now, we're all aware of the present situation with the environment and the climate and all that sort of stuff. I think it has several causes. One is the change in sunspot activity, the natural tendency of the world for cycles, but also human beings. I mean, consumerism is basically destroying the world. Now, I think that what we have, the society we have now, the different governments around the world, I think this is going to change. This will never be the same again. The changes in climate will cause social upheaval, as we're seeing already. It'll cause governments to become more fascist so they can control their populations. It will cause untold problems. It will cause war over access to water. These are very dark days ahead, and I'm glad I'm not going to have a really long life because I don't want to be part of it, really. I'm tired of it. And my heart goes out to young people who have a very, very difficult future. Now, it's not all bleak. Back in the 80s, I read for many, many poor souls who had AIDS, and they died. All of them died. Whereas now, if I see a client with HIV, it's like diabetes. It's a treatable illness, and I'm certain that 20 years from now, it'll be gone. It'll be history. As will most of the diseases killing my generation, including most cancers. And it's not through drugs. We've had that road, and it hasn't worked very well. It'll be through medical technologies, gene therapy, etc. It will be transformed. Younger people now could expect to live a very, very long life with an absence of these killer diseases. An 80-year-old will probably look about 50 or 60. It'll be so different. This is the wealthy nations, of course. As normal, the poorer countries will be left to go to buggery, not do so very well at all. That's the way our world is. But I'll start. For maybe the past 15 years, I've had a dream, a vision. The visions for me, they're not that often, but they're all inclusive. I feel wrapped in them. It's not just seeing something, it's a feel of it. It's like a sense of it. For example, if I have a client going to New York, and we look ahead to see how it will be, I'll feel myself stood on a sidewalk or at a cafe and the bustle of people going around me. Just that sense and vague muttering and talking in the background. That's the energy that's not here yet, but will be. Now, for many years, I've had a dream vision, and what it's been, you've all seen pictures of the world at night from the sky, the ever-growing lights and cities and mines. But in this dream vision, I'm coming in at satellite height from Alaska, over the North Pacific, over Japan, over China, down towards Vietnam, and there are hardly any lights left. There are a few, maybe one or two in Japan, half a dozen in China. But they're not sharp like our lighting, they have like a softness to them. And there's a very strong awareness that there are nowhere near as many people in the world as there are now. And it feels like there's a lot more forest. I can't tell about the animals. But the feeling of this, it feels 350 years into the future. And it's been consistent, it's been a steady sort of feeling. And the feeling is, it's coming. Now, another vision I've had for many, many years. Now, I don't know if you know about Australia, but read our history. The Indigenous folk here have been treated very, very badly for hundreds of years. It was called terra nullius when the British landed. There was no one here as far as they were concerned. The people were just like, the Aboriginal folk were just like more animals to be slaughtered and used and caged. It's a lot better than it used to be, but the government won't even recognise them or make a treaty with them or recognise that they had the world's oldest culture, and it's fascinating and has great depths. So this is the world we live in now. Again, 250, 300 years from now, I'm certain that the Aboriginal people of Australia will have their own country, the top third, probably from Townsville across to Broome, their own country, their own law, their own army. It'll be a very, very different world. The bottom 2/3 of Australia, I don't think they'll ever get back as their own. But this country that's coming, these Indigenous folks, and they will be able to defend it. Can you imagine what the weaponry is going to be like 250 years in the future? This feeling is very, very strong. But ahead of us, we have a long period of time when things are going to change. And many, many people will die, and many, many societal structures will disappear. It's going to be a very hard time. I think the wealthier countries, China, US, Europe, Australia, it'll be easier in some ways because of the access to technology. And of course, the military will become very decisive, all-powerful. And like Australia, with our dreadful government, we've shut the borders, and I think that will become a universal thing. There are darker days ahead. When I do my work and I'm looking down or trying to look down into someone's future, it's like a road in front of me. And some people seem to have several roads. It's like their choices are more than others. And other times it's like an offshoot going here and there. Depending on the size of the road I feel, it shows the possibility of this, the achievability of this. With our world now, how it is, there's no off-ramps. It's just a dark road going ahead. I don't want to be pessimistic. That is very much how it feels to me. And I think that what you can do is be a decent person and do your best to keep a little light going in this darkness. One day, I think, to a big extent, it will come well again. A long, long way from now. Sorry to be such a dismal human being today. But that's how I see it. Thank you, and we'll talk again another time.